Imagine a child of only 12 years old, with a cold, remorseless gaze, luring other children into an alley. Not to play, but to torture and kill. Even before the world knew names like Bundy or Dahmer. Boston was already home to what many would call, the true devil boy. Boston, 1870s. A city that grew between poverty and progress. Unaware that, in the shadows, a child watched. Learning the taste of pain, the silence of fear. And the power to control the suffering of others. Before Bundy. Before Dahmer. There was a boy, named Jesse. The devil boy of Boston. Jesse Harding Pomeroy was born on November 29, 1859, in Charlestown, Massachusetts. From an early age, fate seemed cruel. Jesse had a difficult childhood, an abusive father, an overprotective mother, and a striking appearance. A whitish, misshapen eye, the result of a disease, that earned him cruel nicknames. But behind the crooked gaze, there was something much more frightening. His father, Thomas Pomeroy, was violent and ruthless. One mistake was all it took for the belt to cut through the air, and into the skin. Jesse grew up fearing the man who was supposed to protect him. But that fear, soon turned into something darker. His mother, Ruth and Snow Pomeroy, was the opposite, overprotective. She denied the evil she saw growing inside her son. Then there was Charles, the older brother. The normal, obedient boy who tried to follow the right path. But even he couldn't escape Jesse's dark gaze. Some say Charles even warned his mother.
He enjoys seeing others suffer.
But nobody wanted to believe it. Amidst screams, punishments and silence, the first child serial killer in modern history was born. At 12, Jesse began luring younger boys to secluded locations. He promised them games, adventures. But what came next was pure torture. The victims returned bruised, burned, and scarred by razors. Newspapers of the time described scenes so brutal they could barely be printed. When he was finally recognized by one of the victims, the entire town was shocked. The attacker was just a child. In 1872, Jesse was sent to a juvenile reformatory. For a year, he feigned remorse and good behavior, deceiving everyone. But inside him, hatred was growing. And when he left, at just 13 years old, he was no longer a boy, he was a predator waiting for his next victim. In March 1874, the body of a 10-year-old girl was found in an abandoned basement. Deep mutilations. Precise cuts. Calculated cruelty. A few weeks later, a 4-year-old boy disappeared. His body was found days later, disfigured, buried in the swamp. Witnesses claimed to have seen the boy enter a store, accompanied by Jesse Pomeroy. When questioned, Jesse did not cry, did not deny, did not get shaken. He looked at the police officer and simply asked,
"Did they feel pain?"
That sentence was enough to silence the entire room. At 14, he confessed everything. Every blow. Every wound. Every look of pleasure at seeing his victim's fear. Jesse Pomeroy was sentenced to death by hanging. But because he was a minor, the sentence was commuted to life imprisonment in solitary confinement. It remained isolated for more than 60 years. They say that, even as an old man, Jesse still laughed alone in his cell, murmuring the names of his victims. He died in 1932, at the age of 72, without ever showing any regret. Jesse Pomeroy was the first documented child serial killer in modern history. Later studies described him as a precocious sadistic psychopath, incapable of empathy. His case opened the debate on child psychopathy, and to this day challenges psychologists and criminologists. Evil was born with him. Or was it homegrown? After his brother's arrest, Charles completely disappears from public record. There is no mention of his marriages, employment, or death in subsequent newspapers. Many historians believe he changed his name or moved away from Boston to escape the infamy of the Pomeroy surname. But what happens when childhood and evil meet? Was Jesse a victim of his father? Or a reflection of something that never needed to be taught? Do you believe someone is born evil? Or does the world make them that way? If you want to continue uncovering the darkest minds in history, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell.